way that you view life. Primarily, I want to start talking about death. And the reason why is because in your profession, you see how fickle it is.
Yes.
And how precious, yet how fast it could go. And it doesn't discriminate.
No.
It doesn't care. It's something that is very impartial.
Yes.
And very, this is it.
Yes.
It's inevitable.
And it's inevitable.
It is.
And it's inevitable for all of us. So I want to hear your take on death from your experience, because you see it on a regular basis.
So, like I said, we said before, firefighter, paramedic, seeing death the first time I've seen it didn't hit me as hard as I would have thought, due to the fact that I knew that coming to the profession, I was going to see it. Okay. So I kind of prepared myself for it, knowing that I'm going to see it. When I see it, or when I see a person that is lifeless, I think about, first of all, how old are they? If they're someone that's older, I kind of say to myself, hey, you lived your life. You did what you wanted to do. Hopefully you had fun, but the Lord said, now is your time. It just happens. There is no, I can't say like, hey, I'm gonna bring you back. Like, sometimes I could do whatever I can, work on you and give you all these medications, try to bring you back. But if it's time, it's time. I can't do anything about it, especially since when my first time, calling a death, because in my profession, you do have to call a time of death. The first time I did it, I was like, I contemplated in my head so many times, like, okay, is he lifeless? Is he pulseless? Does he have this? Does he have that? Rigor mortis, liver mortis. Does he? And I questioned myself for probably like 2 minutes in my head. Wow. It felt like 2 minutes, but you have to do it kind of quickly. But it felt like 2 minutes, like saying, like, man, is he really gone, or can I work on him?
Yeah,
it was that tough for me the first time.
Do you have? I'm just curious, because I don't know. Do you have that sort of experience though? More like when this happens, like, do you have that sort of doubt? Like, I do. Should I do? Okay.
Because I think you should always have a little bit of doubt, because if you're too confident, you can't learn. I think you can't learn from it sometimes, because when you, let's just say if I know a certain rhythm on a heart, on a patient, I say that, okay, hey, that's normal sinus. I'm pretty confident that's normal sinus. But then someone who has more experience and more knowledge about it says, no, that's a first degree heart block or something like that. Then I'm like, well, dang, well, no, I'm pretty sure that's a first, not first degree, a normal sinus. If you don't have that, not the confidence,
the experience,
and just like I guess just knowledge and
just like the actual experience doing the job and seeing the differences and being exposed, because not everybody is the same.
Correct. Because when that was my first time calling, so
it's experience.
And I was so scared. I was like, obviously I want to make sure I'm doing the right thing, but also if this person is able to be saved, I want to make sure I'm able to do it. And if I call it, there's no going back.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Once you say it, it's done.
That's it. So I want to make sure that I'm in the right at all times, because I will work on someone no matter what. But if it's an obvious, we're not gonna pursue that that route.
Right.
So
when you see different age groups, because I know in this particular field you see very young people.
Yes.
And I mean, I understand you mentioned that when somebody's older, it's easier to accept because they have lived the life. When you see that happening across those age groups, I know that you guys have been unfortunate enough to go into young people committing suicides and things. Like, how is that? And it's
tough. It really is tough, because you have to think what trials and tribulations did they go through to get to that point. Especially during a suicide. A young suicide, that's hard. Thinking about saying, hey, like, what did this child experience that was so traumatic that they said, I want to end my life? You start thinking about that stuff when you see it, or even when you hear about it. It's like, man, like, was life really that bad for you? And then you think about your life, is like, man, I kind of wish I could at least share that experience of how great life is with that person, but now you can't. And that's just, it's tough. It really is tough because you have to, obviously you have to be professional and say like, hey, they have passed, but at the same time, that's a tough cookie to swallow because most firemen have kids.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And
yes,
especially with a younger individual that passed. If it's one of those age groups that a fireman has, like their own kid, let's just say it's a 3-year-old, they're going to be devastated because you're gonna picture your child.
Yeah.
And you don't want to do that. That's just tough.
Yeah.
So
that is tough.
with the younger patient, it is very, very tough. And you have to, I don't confide it. Like I said before, I talk about it and I have to talk. I can't keep that bottled up because it's going to affect me.
Yeah.
And I'm going to sit back there and think about it and think about it and think about it until I do something.
Yeah.
So I'd rather just sit there and just talk.
Yeah.
I'd rather just get it out.
So as an individual and you are exposed to all this and you are faced with your mortality, how do you deal with that eventuality?
Yeah. So my dad gave me a great word of wisdom. He said, no matter what happens, if I was to die tomorrow, I'm ready because my dad's, I'm Christian. My dad's, I would say more of a Christian than I am. Just due to the fact that he's a little bit more religious. I'm trying to be religious, a little bit more religious, but his upbringing was a little bit different than mine, obviously. So, when he said that to me, it kind of put in perspective, like, listen, if it happens, it happens.
Right.
I embrace it. I'm not going to sit here and regret my life decisions saying, I wish I did this. I wish I did that. That's why I don't have regrets with not playing football. It's just, it happens.
Yeah. It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. I try to, again, this backs to your other point. I try to go through life without any regrets.
Correct.
And when I come to those gates, I live my life. I can't be mad at what decisions I made. It is what it is. And however I die, hopefully it's an easy death. It is what it is, but if it's traumatic, it happened.
It happens as well.
I can't be mad at it.
Yeah.